What's going on, everybody? This is Logan here at Vaporleaf. I am here today with the Joyetech Cuboid 200. This is a triple battery device capable of doing up to 200 watts, though it also has upgradable firmware, so I expect that might change in the future. And it can also do temp control with nickel, titanium, stainless. It's got TCR mode and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and dive down and take a closer look at it. So first off, let's go ahead and take a look at what you get inside of the box. If we take the top off here, you get the device itself, of course, and a really nice stainless steel finish on this one. If we take the stuff out of the middle here, we get our micro USB cable, pretty long one at that. We get a silicone case, and our literature. We just get a user manual, warning card, that sort of stuff. As far as the device itself goes, I really like this stainless steel finish. I wish Joyetech did this on more devices. I like the button, it's nice and clicky. You got your screen up on top here in a nice clean 510 thread. You also get your micro USB port up on the top side there. And on bottom we have our battery door. Now this is kind of an unusual one in that it slides all the way off. On the door itself, you've got negative, positive, and negative marked for the 318-650s, and if you can see down inside of there, we've also got positive, negative, and positive. So let's go ahead and put some batteries in there. Positive down, negative down, and positive down. Now to slide the battery door back on, we kind of need to get it most of the way on there and then push down and slide in. It is pretty snug getting it in there, but it's nice because that means it's not very easy to just fall off, but then you can just push down and slide it back off to remove it. On the screen, if I can catch the reflection just right, we have this little bar here. We've got down and up on that guy. And then of course our fire button is right here, falls right to hand there. Now if you've seen any Joyetech chip, you've pretty much seen them all. This guy's pretty much going to be the same deal as all the other ones. Joyetech figured out a really nice menu system and they aren't about to go and ruin it. So you can see on the screen in power mode here, we are up at 200 watts. We have our resistance, our amperage, our puff counter, our voltage, and each of our 3 cells, which is always a nice touch. You can charge this battery through the micro USB port, but that can also really easily imbalance these batteries. They do strongly suggest that you charge this on an external charger, but if you do charge through the device, just remember that you just want to rotate your batteries every now and then so that they can stay balanced, and you can see the charge of each individual battery on the screen so that you can keep track of that. And again, if you've seen how any Joyetech chip works before, this guy is going to be pretty much the same thing. So if we do 3 clicks on the fire button, that's going to start flashing up there. We can go to the right to get through all the different settings. We got temperature, TCR, and then all the way back to power mode. If we go into temperature and then go left, we can change the material. So we've got nickel, titanium, and stainless for that. And we've got our temperature, again, resistance, amperage, puff counter, wattage in this case, and then our 3 cells. So if we go left again to wattage, then we can change that, just round over from 200 back down to 1. And the nice thing about this is once you get into the wattage and start changing it, you can also go left. Of course, at that point, you can't go left to go through the menu again, so you just have to tap the fire button and do the 3 clicks again. If you go over to TCR and then go left, you can change which memory setting you are in, M1, M2, or M3. And then if you go left, as usual, you can change your wattage, lock your resistance, and change your puff counter to total time vaped. Now, of course, the device is still going to be 5 clicks on and 5 clicks off. We can go ahead and hold the fire button in to the left, and after a few seconds, that is going to give us a voltage readout at what each of our cells are at, which, again, I don't think is the most accurate thing in the world, but it does it. And if you hold the fire button into the right, then you can get into the TCR menu. To get through that one, you can just scroll to the right or to the left to choose which memory setting you want, tap the fire button to select it, and then scroll to change the value. After a little while, that will just turn right off. Then you can go ahead and click the fire button 5 times and turn it back on. There are, of course, the usual Joyetech amenities. If you hold the fire button into the left while the device is on, then you go into stealth mode. Same thing to turn it off. If you hold the fire button into the right, you can get into the menu. Logo on and off, preheat time, which is a nice feature on these guys. Joyetech's been doing a lot of this stuff lately. And then back to logo. If you hold up and down together, just press that whole bar down. That's going to lock the keys, so you can't touch these guys at all, but you can still use your fire button. Same thing to unlock it. And that's about all there is to know about this guy. Pretty standard for Joyetech. It's a simple enough chip to use. There's a bit of a learning curve, but it's really not too bad. And once you get used to it, you can use any Joyetech device with the same ease. So let's go ahead and bring it up top and see how it vapes. One other thing I forgot to mention is actually about the case. So we can go ahead and slide the case on there. It does take a little bit of doing, as is usual with a silicone case. But once you get it on there, you don't have to work very hard to get to your batteries. You just peel the end off there, slide it off to the side, and you have access to your battery door. Really nice thinking there from Joyetech. I think that's why they shaped it like a thong or something. And of course, since this is a triple battery device that we can run up to 200 watts, I have my gold Buddha here today with me to test it out. I actually just noticed something rather interesting about the case. If you set it down, it doesn't actually sit flat. Let's see if I can show this to you. See how it's crooked? So, that's worth keeping in mind, especially because it's a kind of narrow device. So, especially with a big heavy atomizer on top, it would be pretty likely to fall over. So, if you do choose to use the case, check and see if it lays flat, and if it doesn't, just keep a close eye on it when you set it down. Anyway, we're up at 200 watts in power mode to start here. I have my stainless steel fused Claptons, as usual in this device. At 200 watts, we're at 6.78 volts, 0.23 ohms. Let's see how it does. Wow, that's actually got a bit of a bite to it. That's a really solid 200 watts. And you know what? I would expect that, especially from Joyetech and a triple battery device. So at the very least, this device meets my expectations. Though, my expectations, I think, were pretty reasonable, seeing as how Joyetech made the chip that is in the RX200S. So, triple battery device, 200 watts, it should work, right? But at the very least, it's not a letdown, so I'm happy about that. So let's go ahead and try stainless steel mode. Now, I typically run these stainless steel fused Claptons on my DNA 200 in stainless steel temp control, and it takes quite a bit of fiddling to get it just right. And unless you're running TCR in this one, and even if you are, really, it's going to take a lot less fiddling if it works properly. So let's go ahead and do the 3 clicks, get it over into temp SS. I'm going to go ahead and unlock the resistance there. And we're now reading 0.25 ohms. If you guys remember before, it was reading 0.23. But we're at 200 watts and 500 degrees, so let's see what happens. Wow! That might even be more powerful. How did that happen? Oh, it's because it's reading 0.25 ohms. You know, let's go ahead and turn the temperature down, see what works there. We're at 460 now. Ooh. You know, I'm not sure how well that's working. I'm going to go ahead and take the atomizer off. Hit the fire button, no atomizer found, we're at 0 ohms. And it's still reading 0.25. You know what? I'm going to try turning the wattage down a little bit, see if that helps. Alright, so we are now in temp SS at 460 degrees and 170 watts. Let's see what it does. Uh-oh. Not much. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is putting out about as well as an EVOD. Oh, and it kicked me into power mode. Interesting. So it just dumped me into power mode at 20 watts. I don't know if this guy has support for 316L stainless steel. I'm going to check if it's 304 or 316L. So interestingly enough, it doesn't appear to actually say what type of stainless steel it supports. Typically, 316 it's a pretty standard type of stainless steel to be using. Some people use 304, but I think it's a lot more rare than 316. But either way, it doesn't seem to like my stainless steel build very much. So if you're looking to run a big stainless steel atomizer, you might want to look out for that. Now, when I say big, these are very big. So it could just be that the device is getting confused. I don't know, to be honest. But all I know is it kicked me out into power mode at 20 watts, and I'm holding the fire button right now. That does absolutely nothing. There's nothing. But It does nicely at 200 watts. It puts out a whole lot of power, I can tell you that much. I'm obviously impressed with the interface. Always love Joyetech's menu system. The feel of the device, I must say it is pretty freaking big. I don't know if you can see how big it is in my hand there. It's comfortable, but it's sizable. If you don't like the RX200S or something like that because it's a little too big to fit in a pocket, this guy is going to lay more flat, but I mean it's about the size of a pretty hefty wallet, plus the atomizer on top of there. All in all, I'm pretty impressed with this device. It's a little weird that temp control kicked me out. I don't get that on a lot of devices. But it puts out really nice power. I do really like the hand feel. I like how you get to the batteries, although the door coming all the way off instead of being a hinge or something, you need to make sure that you don't lose the door, so just keep an eye on that. But I've got to say, I'm really not disappointed by this device. I think it's a really solid contender for one of the best devices that Joyetech is making right now, and it's a really good option, especially if you want a triple battery device that isn't the RX200. So yeah guys, that's about it for today. Thank you so much for watching. That was the Cuboid 200 from Joyetech. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to leave a comment. We love talking to you guys. If you liked the video, then go ahead and leave a like for me, and be sure to subscribe for all the latest and greatest videos from Vaporleaf. Bye!